Okay, all right. Finished our second day of practice. We were helmet only the last 2 days. Really what stood out to me is really good energy. We rotated 3 groups. I think everybody has got plenty of reps. You know, we've done 20 minutes of 7-on-7 both days. We did 10 minutes of team. Everybody's done a good job of practicing, staying up. I think we did 10 minutes of one-on-one in all areas and a lot of fundamental things from an individual standpoint. We've been very basic. That's been by design to make sure that we give a good foundation with not only the younger guys but even the older guys. And so really looking forward to getting us in pads next Tuesday. You know, just from a pad standpoint, you know, that's when you find out the physicality. It's when you find out you know, who will come off the ball, who will tackle, all those things. It's really hard to say right now as far as has anybody stepped up in the running back situation or O-line or anything like that. It's just really been trying to get our guys to understand how we practice, our approach, just the basic fundamentals, and go with that. But I would say, you know, the first 2 days, I'm really pleased about, you know, where we're at, you know, from that standpoint. Questions?
Because I know you haven't put pads on, but it seems to me there's a distinct teaching, a lot of differences between Herb and JB. And could you kind of walk us through what these guys are going through right now, trying to learn the 2 styles, and what you like out of what JB?
Yeah, you know, of course, there's some different terminologies that, you know, JB has his own brand of terminology, and you know, the older guys, some older guys actually, you know, were here with him, but it's just a matter of the guys getting used to his approach, his terminology. Some of the techniques are a little bit different, and but the guys have responded very well, and you know, I feel real good about. And I've said this before. I mean, JB is one of the better teachers, just true teachers that I've had in 28, 29 years of coaching. He's a true teacher.
You've said it before, but it seems like there's going to be less mixing and matching. That's not JB's style. Is that more or less true, and trying to get guys specialized in a certain spot?
You know, I know he's real big about trying, especially when they're young, try to put them in one position, give them some confidence, the continuity of working beside each other and all that. And I think right now with the makeup that we have, the inexperience that we have, and I think that's definitely, you know, down the right path.
That's just guys like Jeremiah Denson, Daniel Thomas, those guys that are that can play multiple positions. How valuable is that after the losses you had this season?
Yeah, I think it's very valuable. And you know, Denson he's like a coach on the field. You know, just from a big picture standpoint, when you're back there watching everything go, you can really tell the guys that are the leaders on both sides of the football, and you know, he really stands out just with his communication, his attitude. You know, he's a guy that, you know, coach can put at multiple positions, and you know, he's like a coach on the field.
How important is it to have a guy like that on the back end to sort of see things and get everybody?
It's very important. You know, every really good secondary that I've ever seen always had a point guy back there that could make sure and make the calls, and especially nowadays with all the offenses with the motions and the different formations and some unbalanced formation. It really is critical that you have somebody on the back end that can get everybody on the same page, and you know, we believe Denson definitely can do that.
How has Malik changed as a passer the year he's been here?
Yeah, there's something to be said when you go out there and you're playing with the first group from a quarterback standpoint. He has seemed more comfortable. Of course, he should, you know, having a year under his belt. But he's done a good job so far with just his approach, just attention to detail. Things are becoming natural for him. You can tell he's not really having to think about a whole lot of stuff. He's starting to just play football. I think that's really important. Joey has gotten the reps with the twos, and I think he's been a quick learner. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to being the quarterback in our system. That you've got the communication from the sideline, you got to communicate it to the offensive guys, then you got to see the defense, and then you got to do your read, and then you got to do your play. and I've been impressed with his want to. I know Coach Lindsey's felt the same way. You can tell he's very talented. You can tell that. This first 2 days has been good for him.
You know, Jarrett's obviously limited, but he did do some light throws. What is he able to do just off the side, and what does he do when Malik and Joey are out there running the offense?
Yeah, the main thing he's doing right now is just really some footwork stuff. You know, Chip's had him do some drops, some different things on some of our screen game with our timing throws with his footwork. He's done some of that. He's really done more of trying to help Joey. When we get in 7-on-7 or team, he's standing back there with me and just making sure the communication part, even in 7-on-7 when there's no lineman out there, that just making sure that everything is right, the running back's on the proper side and all that, and just trying to help him as best he can, not just really in team settings or 7-on-7, but even when we divide up offense and defense and start doing our installs, and he's done a good job with Joey so far.
Do you consider the backup quarterback job to be open?
You talking about right now?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we got a lot of confidence, you know, in Malik. He was our backup quarterback last year, and just like I said, I mean, he really has taken a step forward, and he looked like a starter out there. You know, I'd say right now, Joey's just learning the foundation, and, you know, so it's really hard to say, but we got a lot of confidence in Malik. And, you know, and then last year, if Malik would have played, you know, especially the second half of the season, we would have felt pretty good that we could have ran most of our offense. So we got a lot of confidence in Malik.
You ever think about 2020 hindsight, maybe should have played him more last season in some packages?
You know, he got some experience. I mean, that is the positive. So we've kind of moved on from last year, just to be honest with you. And I do like the fact that he's getting the reps with the ones, and I think that'll go a long way with next year.
Do you plan on giving Joey any reps with ones this spring?
We'll see what Chip wants to do with that. Like I said, right now he's still in the early stages of just, you know, all the above, like I was just talking about.
Gus, what are you expecting out of Chandler Cox this season?
You know, Chandler Cox is, you know, he'll be a 4-year starter, and I don't know if we've had a 4-year starter at that position. So he's like a coach on the field. He can do a lot of different things. I do know that Coach Lindsey will have him take some handoffs, you know, and of course he's done that the last 3 years too, from a running back standpoint. And that's not to say is he going to be in the running back mix. I don't mean to say that, but just his versatility with the different things he can do. And he had a pretty good year of receiving last year, and we think that can even be better next year.
Yeah, I know Whitlow just moved to running back.
Mm-hmm.
He's played 3 different positions over the last couple of years, including high school. Does he have a legit shot at maybe being your every down running back, your first team running back for the fall company?
You know, I'd say those 5 or 6 guys, I think all of them right now have a legitimate shot to try to be in the mix. And he's one of those guys. I mean, you know, we're going to do more live stuff than we've had in the past, and that's by design too, because we got to get those guys tackled. We got to see who can pass protect. We got to see who can play without the ball. And like I said the other day, I mean, it's wide open. I mean, we have more information on our 2 older guys, but I know Coach Horton's going to let them compete, and that's pretty exciting, really, from my seat. Just in the spring, let's see who can play and who's ready.
What do you like about Whitlow, just as a runner?
Yeah, he's a good runner. We saw that before he got hurt in fall practice, and he made a couple really good runs, and you know, he did good, you know, in the off season here. I think he's got something to him, but I mean, the rest of them, they do too. I mean, the rest of them all have something to them too. So, you know, at the end of the spring, I'm hoping we can have some kind of order.
A lot of those guys are smaller, and then you have a Malik Miller who's a little bit bigger. Mm-hmm. And I know over the years we've talked about carry on. Can he take the carries and everything? Do you feel like all 5 of those guys can be 20 carry backs if they have to, or aren't there only a few there?
Yeah, I think they can. And, you know, I think just over the last 5 years or whatever, there's been times that, hey, can these guys get it done? Can this group, are you worried about running back depth? I know, and if you look at our history, every time we've had somebody step up, and most times we've had 2 guys step up, and so we still feel the same. I mean, the good thing is right now is we got some very talented running backs. So we're gonna let him compete and, you know, hopefully get an order by the time we leave spring. But I really feel like we got multiple guys that can do the job. It's just a matter of who can do the job the best.
We heard a lot during bowl practice about Jatavius' explosiveness.
Who's that?
Whitlow.
Yeah,
We
okay.
heard a lot during bowl practice about his explosiveness and what
Okay.
he was able to do then to kind of turn some heads. Has that carried over through the spring so
I
far?
think so. I mean, I think his teammates going all the way back to fall camp, you know, he had a couple, he had a scrimmage and he performed pretty well. So, you know, I think that's probably where it's coming from.
With Noah, will his doing double duty on offense and defense affect kick returns at all?
No, he's still gonna be the kick returner. I think he's got a chance to be one of the better in our league next year, just for the experience he got this year and what he did. You know, he's looked pretty natural over there so far. Obviously, we're not in pads, but you know, he's got some courage. He usually doesn't shy away from contact. So, and we're still kind of doing that same thing. We'll get to spring break. I'll get with him, and then we'll figure out, you know, the second part of spring practice. You know, how much on both sides. And like I said, we're still planning on him doing a little of both.
Who are you looking at kick and punt return right now?
What's that?
Who are you looking at kick and punt return early on, just getting an opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, of course, the guys that did last year, I do know that Coach Porter's got a handful of 2 or 3, 4 guys, even more than that. When we get back from spring ball, you know, we'll start doing some live things, and I'll update you on
You know their
who
names?
that'll be. Yeah, I do, but I don't want to tell you right now.
You got a game tomorrow?
No.